Hi, welcome to this video in which we are going to see the answers of the Grammar Booster, Unit number 8, exercises 1 and 2. So let's get started. So we're going to start with instructions. Here it says write questions with where. Use a question mark. The example is number 1. In this case, we have your grandparents live. So the answer is where do your grandparents live? Let's continue with number 2. In this case, we have John's friend go shopping. The answer would be where does John's friend go shopping? In this case, we use the auxiliary does because we have as a subject friend, singular, third person form. Let's continue with number 3. Her brother study English. The question would be where does her brother study English? In this case, we use study because the subject is brother. Brother is third person. In the case of number 4, we have you eat breakfast. The question would be, where do you eat breakfast? In this case, we have the auxiliary do because we have the subject you. In the case of number 5, they listen to music. The question would be, where do they listen to music? In this case, we have auxiliary do because we have they, first person. Let's continue with number 6, Rob and Nancy exercise. In this case, the question is, where do Rob and Nancy exercise? Do is the auxiliary because we have plural, Rob and Nancy. What about number 7? His mother work. The question would be, where does his mother work? In this case, the auxiliary is does because my subject is mother, she, third person. Finally, number 8. Here we have your brother do the laundry. The question would be, where does your brother do the laundry? In this case, the auxiliary is does because the subject is brother, he. Well, these are all the answers that correspond to exercise number 1, unit number 8. Let's move on to the next exercise, which is number 2. Let's read the instructions. It says, complete the statements with prepositions in, on, at, or to. Here we have the example, which is number 1. His house is on Baker Street. In this case, we use the preposition on because we are talking about street. Let's continue with number 2. They work blank space the 10th floor. In this case, we use the preposition on. Why? Because here we have floor. Whenever we use floor, we have to use the preposition on. In the case of number 3, Ms. Cruz takes the train, blank space, work. In this case, the preposition is to. Ms. Cruz takes the train to work. In this case, we have to use this preposition of movement. Number 4, it's blank space 18 Spencer Street. In this case, the preposition is at. We are talking about an address. Here we have the number of the house, which is 18, and then we have the name of the street, Spencer. Let's continue with number 5. Here we have Jack studies French, blank space, the BTI Institute. So in this case, we have the following. BTI is a proper noun. So in this case, we have to use the preposition at the BTI Institute. Number 6, Mr. Klein works, blank space, the hospital. In this case, the correct preposition, well, in this case, we have two options. We have at or in. Both are correct because we have hospital, so we can use both prepositions. Number 7, Ms. Anderson's office is blank space, the 5th floor. The same as number 2, as you can see here, we have floor, so we have to use preposition on. And finally, number 8, Jason's sister works at 5 Main Street. In this case, we have an address. So we have number 5, and then we have the name of the street, which is Main. All right. These are all the answers that correspond to exercise number 2, unit number 8. Thanks so much for watching this video. In the next one, we are going to continue with exercises 3 and 4.